Welcome, young people, to WKU Dual Credit Chemistry. Yeah, you were expecting advanced chemistry. It is advanced chemistry. It's the same content that you're going to be taught for advanced chemistry, but now you have the opportunity to earn 4 credit hours in Western Kentucky University. So we're offering more dual credit for those advanced program students who would like it. So, what do you need to know about Mrs. April Raines? Well, who am I? I was born in Michigan. That's where I'm originally from. That's where my mom was from. I was born in the same hospital and delivered by the same doctor as my mother was. I lived in Missouri most of my life, so I was 3 when we moved to Missouri, and I lived there until I was 35. So 32 years spent in Missouri, quite a bit. I graduated from the University of Missouri St. Louis in 1993. I have a bachelor's degree in chemistry and a bachelor's degree in education. Yes, I was a dual major that were not even close. And I did it in 4 years. I worked really hard. Then I got my master's degree from Indiana University Southeast in 2016, and it's a master's in education. This summer I've been working on getting 18 hours to be able to teach this class, and they were 18 hours in dual credit chemistry. Or not in dual credit chemistry, in chemistry, graduate level. I've been teaching for 24 years. 9 years I spent in Missouri, 8 in St. Louis, 1 in Columbia, 2 years in Michigan, and 13 years here in Kentucky in JCPS, and 8 here at PRP. I was at J-Town, a Charger before, and I spent 1 year just as a Bulldog. My goal in life is to become the best teacher that I can be. I want to do the best I can do for you, and I can only do that by putting my full effort forth. So every day I come with the goal of reaching that, whatever that is on that day. So we have to remember that best is always what I require. I'm turning my face off now. So, who are my MVPs? My family, my parents, my son, my niece who is like my daughter Sydney, who I call my ladybug, my daughter Devin, who I love dearly, my husband, who is always there and who always takes everything that I dish, and my family. I love my family dearly. I want to be with them all of the time. Unfortunately, I didn't have the pictures of my niece and nephew, so here we go. Here is my niece Nova. That's my newest baby. And here is my nephew Sterling. That's my other baby. He's the one that's in the yellow down in the bottom corner with his mom, Nicole, my niece. So those are all my babies, and those are all the people that are most important in my life. So what are you going to need for class every single day? It's pretty simple. You're going to need to have a binder for my class. Now, you do not have to bring this binder every day. I would actually like you to keep it home because it's a big, bulky thing. I want it to be about 2 inches. So that's going to be a pretty big binder. So, having said that, you need to be bringing it in when we have binder checks. Binder checks happen on test days. So when we have a binder check, it's up to you to bring that in and to make sure that you have it with you so that you can get your binder check done because they're not taken late. I also require loose leaf paper because I hate the ratty edges. The other thing that you're going to need is a composition book. Now, I will be selling these for $2 on Monday. Monday the 20th, you can bring in $2 for your composition book. They must be graph ruled. They call it quad ruled, but it basically looks like graph paper inside. And the reason we do that is because we make graphs. We're in science class. And so because we make graphs, we need to make sure that we have graph paper to do that with. Okay, so graph ruled composition book. So if you're going out and buying your supplies, you need a graph ruled composition book. I have them for sale on Monday for $2. You also need a scientific calculator, and you will need this right away. You will need this in the beginning of September. You will have to use a scientific calculator. Now, when I say scientific calculator, I am not talking about the graphing calculator. That is not what I'm talking about. I am talking about a simple calculator with scientific function. You can buy them at Walmart for around 10 bucks. I know Staples had one that was 12, but they're not very expensive. So you need to make sure that you get one of those. It's a scientific calculator. You will use it in this class, and you will absolutely need it. Without it, you are going to struggle. You need pen or pencil every day. I provide laboratory equipment. I provide laboratory supplies. I provide chemicals. I don't provide pencils and pens. So you need to make sure that you have plenty of pencils and pens with you every single day so that you have what you need every single day. I would bring more than one of each of those things just in case something happened. But I will not supply those, so you need to supply those. And finally, you need a flash drive, or you need to make sure that you know how to access your JCPS Google Drive. You're going to have to be working on papers and maybe lab reports and projects and all kinds of things that we're going to be doing this year. And you're going to need to have some place to store that so that if you're working on it at home, you can do that. If you're working out here, you can do that. So that's the easiest way to do it. Next, I am trying to have an enjoyable learning environment. We talked about this a little bit today in class, but I didn't bore you with reading over the syllabus. And the reason I did it is because I made this video. So I'm all about RESPECT, Aretha Franklin. I'm all about the respect. And I think respect boils it down to everything. If you're respectful, you're not talking back. You're being polite to your neighbors. You're not messing things up and tearing things up. If you're respectful, you are working cooperatively with people and you're being a good student. If you're respectful to yourself, you're on time every day and you're doing exactly what you need to do. If you're respectful to my rules and to my room, you won't bring food or drink in here. There are no Polar Pops ever, ever. There will never be a Polar Pop able to be drunk in my classroom, ever. I don't allow them. They will be thrown away and put into the trash can. Don't bring them here. You can bring in bottles of water into the classroom only. But if we're in the lab, there's nothing. You don't get to drink water. You don't get to eat anything. Unless I give you something, you don't get to do that in the lab area. So all of that really for me boils down to respect. If we have respect for each other and if we kind of think about it in terms of respect, we know exactly what we need to do every single day. If you want a little more information, make sure you read through your syllabus. So, how do I communicate between home and school? Well, the first time, I make a monthly calendar. I try to do this. Some months I'm a little late, but I do try to get this out. I also post that on Blackboard. And usually it has all your assignments. Now, it's subject to change. If something happens and something pops up, or we're working and you didn't get something and I have to take another day, things adjust. So you just need to make sure that you're thinking about that in terms of what's going on. But I give it to you. Some of you work. I'm trying to get you to be able to plan what you're going to be doing. Next, Infinite Campus. I update that at least every 3 weeks, and usually I update it weekly. I'm usually pretty good about it. I get busy sometimes and I don't get it done, but I usually get it done. Phone calls home. I will make phone calls home. If you're good, if you're bad, I will make phone calls home. Now, if you're bad, I have to make phone calls home. But if you're good, I even do that sometimes. So just be aware, I do call your parents to make sure that they know what's going on. And finally, open house and parent-teacher conference night. I believe open house is September 27th, and parent-teacher conference day, I believe, is October 9th. So how are grades assessed? It's really simple. It's a 10-point scale. You get what you earn. That's pretty much how it's going. You've seen this scale. A is 90 to 100, B is 80 to 89, C is 70 to 79, D is 60 to 69, and U is 59 and below. That's how it's graded. That's how it's going to be graded. Okay? So what are some specifics that you need to know? Well, first of all, your engagement grade includes notes, reading guides, warm-ups, participation, and binder checks. 5% of your grade will be on notes, reading guides, warm-ups, and binder checks. And the other 5% will be participation. There is no tardy hall this year, but you can't be late, because if you're late, you lose your participation automatically. Automatically gone. So that's the consequence of tardiness. There are also other consequences that you need to read about in your syllabus. So these are ways that you will engage with the content. So make sure that you're looking at those things and you're engaging in that. Next, your chemistry binder. Oh, talking about your chemistry binder. You can read all of this in your binder is used to organize yourself. All of this is in your syllabus, excuse me. It will be checked every time we have a test. No late binder checks will be accepted. And you're going to need 6 dividers. Yes, I know they come in packages of 5. You can make a 5th one or 6th one if you need it. Okay, so these are the things that you need. This is all in your syllabus. Nothing new, it's there. I also want them in that order. Okay? So next, progression. That includes classwork, laboratory activities on a daily, formative assessments through your Friday quizzes. That's worth a total of 25%. Classwork is worth 5%. Lab activities are worth 10%. And the formative assessments are worth 10%. So that's the breakdown of that category of progression. Mastery includes reports, projects, summative assessments, and the final exam. So reports and projects, that could be a multitude of things. You could have to do a PowerPoint of something. You could have to write a lab report. There are lots of ways that we have reports and projects. So that's 20% of your grade. Summative assessments are worth 35%, and final exams are worth 10%. Yes, summative assessments are big, but the next thing, summative assessments you can retake. So if for some reason you didn't get a chance to study or you weren't sure about that material, you get to retake these up to 2 times. But you have to do a couple of things. First, after you get your test back, you have to come in and remediate with me. You have to come in and show me that you know what you missed. Okay? After you do that, then you come in another day and you take that exam again. I want you to get a 75% or greater. 75% or greater. That's the point. 75% or greater. So make sure that you're thinking about that as you're progressing through. Even though that category is worth a lot more, I also give you a way to make sure that you get where you need to get. Okay? So make sure you understand that and know that. Makeup work. I don't accept it. Don't even worry about it. Most homework isn't graded traditionally. It's graded for whether or not you do it. And I want to know you did it when you were supposed to do it. And if you don't, you lose those points. That doesn't mean you don't need to do that work, because that work is important for you to understand what's going to be on the tests and quizzes. So I don't take late work. Now, if you were absent, that's another thing. Field trips, however, if you have something due and you're going on a field trip, that assignment better be to me before you leave that day. Okay? So make sure you get that done. So late work will not be accepted in any way, shape, or form. If you're having trouble, come and see me. I understand people who are struggling, but come and see me before you're having an issue, not after. Don't come after something is due and say, I didn't understand. Come to me before. I don't understand what I'm supposed to do. Can you help me? I am more than happy to help you. I am here almost daily after school to help people. That's my job. If I'm going to be my super teacher goal, then I have to do what I have to do. Okay. Absenteeism procedures. Everybody's absent every once in a while. However, I use Blackboard. Everything goes on Blackboard. If everything is on Blackboard, then if you're absent, you look on Blackboard because it is going to show up on Blackboard. Okay? If you need something in class, if there's a handout that you need, it usually goes into something called the homework crate. It's a yellow crate on the side of my desk, the right-hand side of my desk. On your side, it's the left-hand side, underneath the calendar that I have posted in the classroom. And it's a daily thing. If you have something, you go into the folder that is your class folder and you pick out what your daily work is for that day. Okay? I don't want you to interrupt my classroom to ask for extra work, to ask for your missed assignments. That's your job. If you're absent, it's your job to get that taken care of. You can come to me before class and I'll be more than happy to answer that question. You can come to me after class and I'll be more than happy to answer the question. But don't ask me in the middle of class, what is my missing work? Because I'm probably going to respond in a way that you're not going to be happy with. Tonight's homework, really simple. We talked about this already today too. So you're going to take home the syllabus and have your parents read it and then get that sign, get the letter on the back sign and bring the letter back in for 20 points. You're going to get a safety contract signed and turn it in for 20 points. And this is really important. No contract, no laboratory time. You're going to be in lab on Thursday and Friday this week, and that is going to be excused because you're not going to be working with any chemicals and very little equipment. But from Monday forward, if you don't have a contract, you don't go into the lab. And that means you get a 0 on stuff. And you're going to take the syllabus quiz on Blackboard. Actually, that's going to be given on Friday. That's going to be given on Friday. Okay? So it's due on the 17th. That's this Friday. So make sure that you have that in. And I'm looking forward to a fun and enjoyable year. So let's just embrace this. Let's just learn as much as we can and do the best that we can. All right, young people.